Oh, so he admits it. It may not be accurate. The plot thickens. The media didn't cover this portion, did they, Ari?
No, of course not.
You must follow the law. The law says glorious. Is it a lawsuit? Probably. Why not? Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law with attorney Larry Forman. Today, folks, I once again have Ari Jacob in the studio with me. I will introduce her in just a moment. We are in the middle of the direct examination of the deputy who examined the black box. Oh, yes. He has discovered speeds ranging from 70 to 103 miles an hour. Now, our suspicion, if you watched the last video, you already know what we discussed. We believe that it is possible, if the car was airborne, the speed at which the tires were moving while the car is off the ground is going to be deceptive. And maybe he was never going 104. Maybe it was after impact when the car has left the highway. We don't know for certain. Hopefully, we will find out from the preliminary hearing. If not, it is definitely going to be some expert reports that will be filed by Alan Jackson and his team later on, since Alan Jackson is the one who is representing Mr. Bohm. So, folks, without further ado, I bring you Ari Jacob. How is it going, Ari?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure. Are you having a good day today?
I am.
Awesome. You ready to dive right back in?
I'm ready. Let's figure out this speed stuff.
Let's figure out the speed stuff, the event stuff. It gets a little hairy, but just for the record to the audience, folks, just think of it backwards, right? As the black box records events, it's going to record event 1, and then if there's another triggering event within the same ignition cycle, key ignition cycle, we learned those from the Karen Reed case as well, with, I think it was Data Daddy, if I'm not mistaken. I think the one that looks like me, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And then when a new event occurs, that first event gets pushed out, and if there are, let's say, 6 events, the 6th one will fall off and won't be recorded because it has a maximum capacity of 5 events, the black box, in these vehicles that have been installed in cars since 2012. So, event 3 is first in time, event 2 is second in time, and event 1 is the last in time. So the third is the oldest, 1 is the newest. That's how I'm interpreting it. I don't know about you, Ari.
I think that sounds right. I'm also like a girl math with numbers, so I'm just going to go with what you're saying because I agree.
Girl math. Is that letters?
Girl math, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm dyslexic. I'm trying to I'm so much more visual, so I'm just so excited for us to get the actual.
Some of the most brilliant people on the planet have dyslexia, just so you know.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Cool. Well, I have ADD, and maybe I'm dyslexic too. We'll see.
Nothing wrong with that. In terms of doing I believe you called it the principal direction, deputy?
Principal direction of force, correct.
What is it that you're attempting to do?
What I'm attempting to do is determine the angle at which the vehicle struck, because the Mazda was the first impact that I observed on scene. I would expect a positive principal direction of force and primarily closer to 0 because he kept going prior to. If my principal direction of force had been a negative, the data would not match up with the crash scene in that first impact.
Objection. No foundation of the directness, Your Honor.
All right, overruled. Next question, please.
Did you do that same type of calculation for record number 2?
Correct. I did for record number 2, and in record number 2, I calculated out a negative 70-degree POF, which would indicate a driver's side to passenger side impact. Okay.
Now, you went and surveyed the scene, correct?
Correct.
And you indicated that you observed the red Mazda as the first vehicle that you saw that appeared to sustain any damage, correct?
Correct.
Were you able to, in the totality of that area that you had mapped out, were you able to determine where the next thing that had been damaged was?
So in my on-scene investigation, the next major item that appeared to have been struck would have been the silver car.
And that silver car was the one that ended up in the middle of the road?
Correct. It's on its side.
And based on your observations of the scene, and you discussed gouge marks, were you able to determine the approximate location of where that silver car was prior to the impact?
Yes, it was along the north curb line. There was a retaining wall, white retaining wall there, I believe. It was about 35 to 40 feet from the red Mazda.
And were you able to do that calculation for record number 2 for the principal force, the direction of force?
Yes, and that was the negative 70-degree principal direction of force.
And was that consistent with what you observed in terms of the scene of the collision?
Yes, it was.
The most recent record number 1, did you do a calculation for the principal direction of force for that?
I did, and I calculated it out as a 20-degree principal direction of force.
And based on your observations of the scene, did that correlate to anything?
There was, in my opinion, 2 possibilities. I believe that it was a parked black vehicle, but there was a millisecond between 2 and 3. It's possible that it was the block wall. There was also multiple trash cans that were struck, so I wasn't definitely able to say what record number 1 was. Was it whether it was the parked car, the black car, which the data would suggest, but it could be also the wall. I could not distinguish what impact was from record number 1.
And in terms of what we've been looking at with the data that's People's 20, does that show the totality of those 6.5 to 7 seconds of data that you were able to obtain?
Correct.
And did that appear consistent with your observations of the crime scene?
Yes.
What did you do after these calculations?
I did a time and distance analysis with the 5 seconds of pre-crash data. So from record number 3, there is 5 seconds of speed and time. I calculated out how far the vehicle would have traveled in that 5 seconds. And prior to striking the Mazda, I calculated out 735 feet prior to. That places the vehicle in kind of a straightaway portion of PCH, which there is a slight right turn, kind of a veer to the right, which also mirrors the 0 on the steering column. And then the -5 and -10 where PCH kind of curves into that Mazda area.
Let me show you then People's 19 that we looked at. So the curve, I guess if we looked at it this way, I'm turning the People's 19. What is that? 90 degrees clockwise. So the movement of the road from the center line towards the left. Is that what you're discussing about the curve?
Correct. It's fairly straight, but there is a slight left bend to the road.
And in terms of the steering input of the BMW for the entirety of the duration that you received, what direction did the BMW steering input indicate?
From event record 3, it's either straight or slight left.
Was at any point in that time there any input?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Why don't we take a 15-minute break to give the reporter time to reset or to rest? We'll be back in 15 minutes, sir. I'll order you back then. Thank you. We are back in the record in Mr. Bohm's case. This is LA 100189. Mr. Bohm is present in court. His representative, Mr. Kraut, is present. The people's representative, Mr. Bartos, is present. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said yesterday, I'm just going to ask the audience, please refrain from talking, commenting, making any noises whatsoever. I really do appreciate how emotional this hearing is, but please, I would appreciate it if you refrain from making any comments. Thank you. All right. We do have Deputy Apodaca on the stand. Mr. Kraut, cross-examination, please.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So, a couple of things. And by the way, I have a feeling this is about to get really interesting, Ari.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited.
Cross is always more fun. Defense attorneys do have more fun. You know, they say blondes have more fun. I say criminal defense attorneys have more fun. Have you or someone you love been injured as a result of someone else's negligence? Or worse, lost a loved one because of it? I am attorney Larry Forman, and myself and my team of trial lawyers are ready to help you to get the absolute maximum compensation permissible under the law. We know the system. We understand how to win. Anywhere in the United States, 24 hours a day. 1-844-774-HURT. Call us. We can help. So a couple of things. Obviously, you have a lot of training in this area and a lot of certifications. So you do recognize there are potentials for errors, correct?
Correct.
Right out of the gate, there it is. We have potentials for errors. This is not a cut and dry science. This is not a 104 means 104 means 104 means 104 and 70 means 70 means 70. Let's see what Kraut does and how he does it.
Well, and the fact is, what's so interesting is like why, if these things are going to be used for this, they didn't design them, the black boxes for this. They did it to get like safety data for the cars. So yep. I don't know why they didn't just make the law to just make them better if they're going to also use them for for this type of thing. I
Yeah,
think.
but then you get to limit the government and their fraudulent abilities to prosecute people. Why limit the government and their fraud? That seems very unfair. The government should be allowed to prosecute anyone for any reason at their choosing, at their leisure.
Yeah. Like, why not just make the technology better or do what you're using?
Oh my God, stop. This is criminal what you're talking about. Why would you do that?
Right. Yeah.
You get it. And one of the things that you do is you try and minimize those potential for errors in your investigations, correct?
Correct.
Do you also do things to try and duplicate results such that you would look at other things to match speed, trajectory, etc., other than just raw data that you get off the module?
Correct.
Okay. Did you do any calculations of, we have your diagram. Did you do measurements of things that may have been hit, like trash cans, etc., prior to the red vehicle?
Prior to the red vehicle, there was no signs of a crash.
Okay. And one of the things I noticed is that the crash to the red Mazda, that was substantial, correct?
Correct.
What's the weight of a 2016 BMW, that M series, the one that we have?
I would have to look it up.
Did you do that in your evaluations of this?
I did pull the auto stats. I did not take a weight of this vehicle.
How about the Mazda?
No.
How about the gray car on the side?
No.
How about the black car that's skewed towards the mailbox?
No.
Okay. And would that, if you don't have the module per 2012, and you were doing this before 2012, correct? You were in traffic, but you weren't in the unit you are in now?
No. Are you talking about pre-data recorder?
Yes, 2012. Yes, Your Honor.
No, I started working traffic in 2014.
Okay. So if the module is destroyed, that sometimes happens, correct?
Correct.
So you could have a major crash, and there can be a fire and the data won't be able to be retrieved, correct?
Correct.
Let's take it if you didn't have a module. What would you do to try and determine the speed, etc., on this type of crash scene if there was no module?
We would have to do a reconstruction. To come up with the minimum speeds. I would have to do a reconstruction to come up with a minimum speed.
And that's doable, right? You look at gouge marks.
Yes.
Gouge marks, things like that.
Yes.
You look at skid marks.
Yes.
You look at the weight of the vehicles, right?
Or a published weight, yes.
I'm sorry?
Or a published weight.
Correct, right. All the cars pretty much are the same when they come off the floor, right?
Correct.
Give or take a few pounds, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, you relied upon the module exclusively to make the determination of speed of Mr. Bohm at the time of this incident.
Per speed, correct.
Okay. Fair to say this is a major, horrific event for the victims' families, for the community, for everybody, correct?
Correct.
And resources were put towards this investigation, right?
Yes.
Why since, well, okay, let me go backwards. You have been trained, and when you're given the raw data and when you're given the information associated with these modules, you're given a warning that these modules the information and the raw data that you received may not be accurate, correct?
Correct.
Oh, so he admits it. It may not be accurate. The plot thickens. The media didn't cover this portion, did they, Ari?
No, of course not.
Oh, the 104 may not be accurate, ladies and gentlemen, but we're just saying. We're just saying. I swear to God. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so they're relying. So now the police, they don't do further investigation because of a tool that they're using that wasn't even made for the outcome that they're actually using it for, which is wild.
Yep, they're using a tool that they know can be laden with inaccuracies, but what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Close enough for government work. It makes their job
easier.
Huh?
It makes their job easier. They don't have to do
They don't have to do all the extra calculations and figuring out speeds, and you have to go back to force equals mass times acceleration. That's what Kraut is getting at. The force equals mass times acceleration. We know the acceleration, presumably from the black box data, maybe. We need the mass. That's why he's asking, did you at least measure the weight of the bloody vehicle? If he didn't measure the weight, then that means he never did any calculations. He completely 100% relied on this stupid device to spit out the answer and be like, good enough. Anyway, moving on to the next thing.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, when someone's life is on the line, like that might go to jail for the rest of their life, I think that's important that they do that. And for the families, right? Just to corroborate just to like make sure that everything is Yeah, it's wild.
Okay. Knowing that the modules and the raw data, and I guess, let me strike that.
You mean withdraw?
What?
You mean withdraw?
Withdraw. Thank you, Judge. Yeah. It's kind of like building the pyramids. The foundation has to be there for you to do your calculations and come to the tip and get your accurate results. But you hope to be accurate, correct?
Correct.
And if the foundation is not accurate, the error compounds and the result at the end may not be accurate. You still may get a number, but it may not be accurate, correct?
Correct.
All right. And so you're given a warning with these modules that raw data may not be accurate, as you said a moment ago. Am I still correct?
Yes, that is a warning given.
All right. So with something as horrific as this event and catastrophic as this event, knowing that the raw data on the modules may not be accurate, why did you not measure the skid marks, the weight of the cars, etc., the damage to the cars, and try and recreate the speed that way as well?
There was too many variables that were undetermined or moved prior to my investigation, and I would lose too much speed.
Did he literally just say what I think he said? Are you fucking kidding me?
They wanted to investigate it so fast, is what he's saying, right?
Well, not only that, he was going to lose... I'm trying to figure out if he means I'm going to lose speed of Michael Bohm's vehicle, or I'm going to lose speed in being able to conduct the investigation. I'm confused here.
Okay. If you said it the way you're saying, that's bad.
Right? I'm going to lose speed. I want it to be 104. I don't want it to be like 90 something or 80 something, God forbid, because then we won't be able to charge the kid with murder. I want to charge him with murder. I want to help the prosecutor. Is this a joke?
Yeah, it's like maybe it was like a Freudian slip.
Oh my God. Ari, the plot thickens. This is getting worse. This is worse than I thought. Let us cut corners so that I don't have to do math, so I don't have to do formulas. Let's just extract the number, wrong as it may be. Oh my God, the defense are going to have a field day with this.
There was too many variables that were undetermined or moved prior to my investigation. Interesting.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
What variables is he talking about?
Removed prior to my investigation. So that would have been like 30 minutes because it happened at 8:30 and he got there like around
9:01, I think the prosecutor said, yeah.
Or moved prior to my investigation.
All right, so
nobody was moving the cars.
That's the next question. So, Deputy, tell me what was altered before you began your investigation that you were aware of. Crowd caught him. Let's see what he says.
Just from body cam, there was civilians or residents who were picking up and moving trash cans on scene. And then just with the impact, especially of our silver car, it was undetermined how much impact it would have had with the wall, which would lose speed. And I just felt that there were losing too much speed and there was too many unknown variables to do a full reconstruction when we had the event data recorder.
It was undetermined how much impact it would have had with the wall, which would lose speed. Again, I feel like he's talking about the speed of Bohm's vehicle. I could be wrong, but that's what that's what it feels like. Okay, so let's assume we did not have the module. It's been destroyed. Let's say it's pre-2012. Would you have attempted to use the skills, the training, and expertise that you have to get the speed of the BMW at the time of the incident by other means?
If that was our only method, yes, but I would have been aware of that or been aware that we would be losing speed. What?
Okay, so losing speed, I'm right. He is talking about Bohm's vehicle.
Okay.
Now, when you say by looking at you matched all the videos, is what I'm saying. What I'm hearing?
As far as I know, yes.
Do you know approximately how many you watched?
I think there were 5 from surveillance cameras in the area, and I believe I watched 2 or 3 body cams.
Okay, so the first thing that the department trains people is when there is an accident like this, is to lock down the scene, put up crime tape, not allow people to alter or move things on the crime scene, correct?
No, the first thing would be to the preservation of life.
Right. Okay, after that.
Yes, after that, lock down the scene and treat it like a crime scene.
And as far as what time did you get there?
I would have gotten there. I have that on record as I can check my...
Please, with the court's permission.
Would it refresh your recollection? Yes, you may. Has your recollection been refreshed? Yes. Mr. Kraut, 23:20.
Please. So you got there at 11:20?
Correct.
And you understand this happened at approximately 8:30.
Correct.
So that's almost 3 hours.
Oh, I thought you got there at 9. Wow.
Yeah, that's what Bartos, I thought, said.
I think maybe he got called at 9. He got the call at 9.
It took him 2.5 hours to get to the scene?
My gosh.
Makes no sense. Again, this is just not adding up, but maybe it's because we're missing information. What was your understanding was altered from 8:30 until 11:20?
Just upon my arrival, I scanned the scene. Later on, observing the body-worn cameras, there were trash cans that were being picked up and moved. I don't know what was in those trash cans, how heavy they were, or how many were moved.
Were they destroyed or not destroyed?
Both.
Okay, so the ones that were not destroyed would have no impact on you. If they were not hit, they would have no impact on your decisions of speed. They would have been something avoided, correct?
I was not able to tell on scene which ones were impacted and which ones weren't.
Well, at the speed that you were thinking occurred, they would be exploded pretty much, wouldn't they? Objection, there's no question pending. Correct?
You can answer, sir. There were trash cans being picked up on body cam and stood up. I don't know if it was a direct impact or if it was, I don't know what hit what.
And you also don't know if those trash cans had been down prior to the incident, correct?
That would be unusual, but no, I do not.
Somebody might have parked. There's a lot of parking. You've gone to PCH many times, right?
Correct.
There's a lot of car accidents and deaths on PCH.
Is that a yes? No.
You know that there's a lawsuit going on with the Sheriff's Department and PCH and the number of deaths. I think it's 60 in the last 5 years, correct?
I'm aware of our fatal numbers in the county, and that does not sound accurate.
Now, I understand how you would not try and gauge speed because things have been moved and you don't know, there could have been a lot of heavy stuff in the trash cans or it could have been just paper. But you might also look at cameras, correct?
Correct.
And you were able to see a counter on a camera and see if the timing is accurate, right?
On most models, correct.
Okay. And you saw that the 5 you were looking at?
Correct.
All right. And you also have points of where you see a vehicle pass a driveway until it hits another driveway. And you have that, you can measure that distance, right?
Correct.
And going back to basic math, you can calculate the BMW goes from point A to point B and figure out the calculation. And that's how we determine miles per hour, correct? You just add that distance until it becomes a mile?
Simplified, correct.
All right. Did you do that?
No.
Okay. Knowing that raw data can be inaccurate, which would create the testimony you've given us to be inaccurate as to the speed. Knowing that, I get how you don't want to change it. I mean, if things had been moved, it's hard impacts. But the easiest way would be to look at 2 spots, especially immediately before the collisions that are on the video, and do that calculation on point A to point B and the duration of that time. Correct? The most accurate.
No.
Really, bro? Really? That's what I want to say, at this point. Are you serious? You want to tell me that putting pen to paper is not going to give you a more accurate result than an unreliable device that makes mistakes?
Right.
This is ridiculous. This is crazy. This is bonkers. Well, that's how you give people speeding tickets. You, quote unquote, meaning your department, is that you go to point A, sometimes point A to point B, and they calculate the speed, correct? That's done.
No, we're using radar.
Okay, you've never seen that they use it from above?
No.
You're aware that in training that they do speeding tickets from above?
Not in our department. We are not aware of that.
Are you aware of other departments that do it?
I've driven to Vegas and seen the signs, yes.
All right, so knowing that is going to be the most infallible. Why didn't you look at the timestamps and the distances? And some of it is quite enough distance to get a really accurate speed. Why didn't you do that in this major traffic collision? Objection, Your Honor. Compound and argumentative.
Sustained.
Look, Deputy, if you know measuring point A to point B, you can get that definitive no errors, correct?
Correct.
If you have a timestamp and you're able to check that the time of that camera and the seconds as they click by and that is accurate, you're able to determine that as well, correct?
No, that's out of my scope.
You're telling me that you couldn't have somebody in your traffic team look at a camera and, as the seconds tick, make sure that a second on that is real life second? You're telling me that that's not doable?
For a time distance, a second is too large of a sample for that to happen.
I didn't ask you for that. Are you able to tell that a second on a counter is a second in real life? Yes or no?
No, I am not.
Would that be within your scope of law enforcement to be able to tell that a second is really a second?
In the scope of time, correct.
Okay, so you know that a second, how long a second is, and you can determine that the distance that it traveled in a second. You could determine the speed of a vehicle, correct? I asked you before and you said yes. So what has changed?
With respect to a time and distance of from point A to point B in this amount of time, correct.
Okay, but you didn't do it in this case.
Correct.
Now, let's get to whether or not there could be errors in the final result based upon how you look at the underlying data. First of all, I asked you about People's 14A. I'm placing it up there. And we've talked about how the damage to this vehicle, the red Mazda, was substantial, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the next, and two heavy objects hitting each other, a car hitting a stationary car parked such as this. There's going to be a major change in velocity of the car moving, correct? As it hits something that's a ton or two?
No, it depends on the mass and the energy brought in.
Okay, and you can determine that.
Yes.
Did you in this case?
No.
Did you calculate the PDOF?
Yes.
And you've used that as principal direction of force, correct?
Correct.
And in order to do that, you talked about the latitude and longitude, is that right? The lateral and delta?
Yeah, the delta V and the vehicle laterally and longitudinally.
Right. So there's a longitudinal delta V and there's a lateral delta V, correct?
Correct.
In order to accurately get that, they need to be looked at the same time, correct? You're looking at an event. You're freeze framing a moment in time in order to get the lateral and longitudinal, right?
Yes, but we're talking milliseconds, so in proximity, yes.
Could you look at your raw data on record number 2, the longitudinal?
Yes, you can look at it.
A delta V has a 298 millisecond post-impact, but the lateral is 272 milliseconds post-impact. Is that correct?
You're looking at record 2, longitudinal and lateral?
Yep. They're not at the same time, are they?
And at what timestamps?
Just for the second recorded event.
And what timestamp?
I'm looking at one has 298 milliseconds post-impact and one has 272 milliseconds post-impact.
You're looking at pages 13 and 15?
Okay, am I correct that there's a variant that's not the same?
I'm not understanding your question.
In order to calculate the correct PDOF at a given time, the times have to be the same for the delta variant, correct?
In proximity.
Where in your training does it say, quote unquote, in proximity? Which class did you go to? Which certification did you get? In which class of any training you had anywhere in the country that says you'll look at these things in proximity versus they're supposed to be done at the same time?
No, you would take a range, and that range is going to be, we're talking milliseconds. So the proximity of your range is what we would use.
And where in your training has it said that you can utilize a proximity to get an accurate directional force?
When I took the analyst course at Collision Safety Institute, that's the way it was taught.
And when did you take that class?
It would have been 2019.
Well, Ari, what did you think of today's interaction between Kraus and the deputy?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would be so interested to hear like what his tone of voice and everything, because he's kind of trying to make it sound like he kind of half did this the right way. And if
the
he
deputy?
didn't have, yeah, right. Crowd is implying that he didn't do a very good job, right?
Well, not that he didn't do a very good job, that he did no job at all. Like, at all. You know, again, it's going back to math, and I know math is hard and physics is hard, trust me. But it's very simple. You just need to remember 3 letters. FMA, right? Force, mass, acceleration. Force equals mass times acceleration. That's how you calculate the force of an object. In order to calculate the force of impact, you need to determine how fast the vehicle was going. That's the acceleration. And the mass of the vehicle. Does it weigh 1 pound, 20 pounds? Does it weigh a ton, half a ton, 5 tons, 6,000 pounds? Whatever it may be, right?
Right.
And so the deputy's initial failure, see, crowd caught him right on the front end. He was like, how much was the vehicle weigh? Did you measure any of the weight of the vehicles? And he said, no to the Mazda, no to the gray vehicle, no to the BMW, no to the black vehicle. I did not measure any weight of any vehicle whatsoever. Immediately, what that told crowd is he knew the deputy did absolutely zero calculation, zero, zilch, nada, of his own, right? So you can rely on technology, you can rely on machinery, you can rely on all sorts of devices to feed you information. And luckily for the deputy, and unluckily for Mr. Bohm, the black box has sped out some numbers. The vehicle was going this speed at this event, the vehicle was going this speed at this event, and this speed at this event. What crowd is asking the deputy is, listen, bud, okay, you've extracted these numbers. That's easy. You press a button, you look at the data. But did you put pen to paper? Did you actually take your software? Did you actually use your skills? That, imagine this is 2000. He said it multiple times. Imagine it's pre-2012. It's 1995. It's 2002. It's 2007. It doesn't matter what year. Before 2012, you don't have a black box. You have the ability and capability to do the math, measure it, investigate it on your own. Yes, 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 and yes. Did you do it? No.
Right. The other thing he was asking, so it sounds like there was 5 cameras that basically recorded Fraser's car at different points in time.
Yep.
So he's asking, did you corroborate how fast he was going on all 5 of those times, right?
Because all you have to do is measure maybe 1 second, maybe 2 seconds, because miles per hour are miles per hour. You can deduce that an hour has, 3,600 seconds, right? Mm-hmm. An hour has 60 minutes. Each minute has 60 seconds. 60 times 60, you get 3,600. So all you have to do is simply divide the distance that the vehicle travels in that 1 second on the camera, divided by 3,600, and then, multiply it then by 3,600 after that 1 second, and now you get miles per hour. So inches per second can be converted into miles per hour. That's what crowd is talking about. And the fact that the deputy decided, I'm not even going to do that,
right?
That's a little sus. That's very sus, especially with all that pressure that was coming from every direction. Again, I don't mind it. I actually like it because the defense is going to have a field day. They're going to have so much cannon fodder for cross-examination to put doubt in the jurors' minds as to what Bohm's actual speed was, the negligence by the deputies and their failure to investigate, their failure to calculate the speeds, their failure to corroborate the data that they received from a black box that may or may not be accurate, that the deputy agreed, yes, it's literally notoriously inaccurate, but we trusted it anyway.
One thing I caught, I don't know if you caught this, is it was a little weird that that Apodaca said, no, there's not that many fatal deaths on this road, on this highway.
I did catch that. He
Krause
said 60 in the last 5 years, and then the deputy was like, nah, that's wrong.
I think it might have been 50, or 50 something. I think 54 by that point, but it was pretty close.
Come on, you're seriously going to argue about this? That doesn't make any sense.
That was a little okay, why is he saying that? I mean, he could say, this is a deadly road. I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree. I am very, very disappointed in the LA County Sheriff's Department and this lackadaisic attitude. And
why did it take him so long to get there? I mean, I don't know how long these types of investigators normally are supposed to be there, but
he's not a first responder. He is an accident reconstructionist, so he's going to get called out to the scene. You got to understand. So it's 8:30, okay? 8:30 p.m. Accident occurs. People are lying deceased on the road. So there's panic, there's confusion, there's a lot of activity, drivers, People are calling 911, people are walking out with cell phones, recording everything. And I can tell you, probably within 5 to 10 minutes, we had police on scene. Maybe even faster than that. So the police are on scene. They're securing the scene. What they should be doing. You also have to remember, PCH is a very, very, very highly traveled road.
Right. So they have to shut down the whole highway.
So shutting down the whole highway is an extreme measure, and police will usually avoid having to do that if they can, so to keep traffic moving. They'll close a few lanes, the lanes that they need to operate, and then keep a couple of lanes open, call in a traffic controller, and then basically manage traffic. It's going to create a lot of traffic, but at least people are going to keep moving. They're not going to be in a complete standstill. But then you have to call in, EMTs, paramedics, like the deputy testified. First, life-saving measures. You got to make sure that the people you're dealing with are they okay? Are they not okay? The actual measuring and the reconstruction of the scene. I think there's a lot of negligence on behalf of LA County Sheriff's Department, the PDs, maybe Highway Patrol, California Highway Patrol, CHP. I think that they failed to secure the scene properly because people were moving things against police directive. That should not happen.
Yeah.
If the deputy is honest and truthful about what he's saying, that things have been moved, trash cans have been picked up, things have been relocated and all this, that's actually quite horrific. And that is brownie points for Bohm's case. Now, how significant is it going to be? Probably not very much.
Right.
Because, again, at the end of the day, we have, 4 deceased people.
No, of course.
But does it give them a little bit more to play around with? Sure, absolutely.
Right.
It's the failure of the police to secure the scene.
Yeah, somebody in my comments said that they were around that night and that the crash was so loud. They could, everybody heard it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's really awful. I mean, and yeah, I don't know how, what's so interesting is, how is there just, people walk, I'm thinking about, I went to San Diego State, and there's people walking around everywhere, in the, if they were going to, a fraternity party, that sounds like an area where there's a lot of people. So, how dangerous is it that there's a highway where just so many people are just, walking around? It's just so crazy to me.
It does sound crazy. I mean, life goes on. People are going to keep going about their day. I'm sure a lot of people were just walking out of that restaurant going, oh my God, what happened here? There's blood on the ground. And I mean, can you imagine? It's horrific.
Oh yeah. Because they're right in front of a restaurant. I mean, but it's just crazy that there's that much foot traffic right around. It's why don't they just put up speed lights then? Every, just like a normal town. I just don't understand. I guess because people are driving from LA down to, it's a major highway, I guess. But
yeah.
All right. Well, be exciting and interesting to read what else Mr. Kraut gets out of this cross-examination.
We'll finish the cross-examination in the next video. In the meantime, go find Ari on all of her socials at Little Miss Jacob. And if you're on YouTube at Influences, you will find all of Ari's content. Ari, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a lot of fun. We're going to continue this. I'll see you in the next video, Ari.
Sounds good.
All right, folks. This is it for another episode of Fraser Bohm's preliminary hearing earlier this year in April of 2025. We are down to just a few more episodes remaining. We're going to continue premiering this until we conclude and get more information about the case. And until then, folks, don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Ari, show her some love, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.